Hi, Swell sponsor. My name is Shannon Tarrant with the Wed Tank. I'm based here in Central Florida. We do a lot of education, sharing tips and ways for vendors and venues in the wedding and event industry maximize the business and the efforts they're putting out to get a greater return. So I'm here with you today because you either are sponsoring an upcoming Swell meeting or you have sponsored a meeting in the past. So I wanted to share some tips with you today that's a little bit on things that you can do as a business before the meeting, during the meeting, and after the meeting to maximize the sponsorship. I remember working at a venue and I was a caterer. And so the time, energy, and investment that you put into sponsoring events in the industry itself is a lot, right? It's a lot of work, especially if you do it right. We've all seen it. People who sponsor come out, don't really give it their all. But so today I wanted to give you some tips so that the effort you put into it, you're making sure you do all the right things to get back out of it what you were hoping from. Obviously, Swell has its own responsibility as an organization of where they're putting your logo, sharing your info, linking back to you on social media to get maximum on their side. But today we're going to focus on what you can do as a company to create a better opportunity so that it makes sense. So let's talk first about what you can do before an event. The first thing you can do is make sure that you provide anything that Jordan and the Swell team asks for well in advance. Meaning if they've asked you for your logo, your company bio, some pictures of your work, whatever they've asked for to help promote you at this event, make sure you get it to them as quickly as possible. Usually the earlier you provide that to the organizer, the faster they can promote you and put it out there that you're going to be a part of the event. So put that all the way to the top of your list. Then once the links and information is live for the event, make sure you're sharing about it. It's the same whether you're doing an event for vendors or if you're even doing like a wedding show or some kind of community event. You want to tell the world that you're going to be there, that you're showcasing the work and what you do, what you're providing, what that looks like, and take that time and energy to invite not only the vendors that you already have great relationships with and you've got amazing partnerships with them already, right? Like people that you're on their vendor list and your preferred vendor or people that you refer to. You want to send them an individual invite with the link for them to come and attend the event. But you also want to use this as an opportunity to maybe invite some of those vendors, planners, venues that you've been trying to build a better relationship with. Because at the end of the day, it's hard to refer someone that we've never worked with or that I've never actually seen them work. So this gives that opportunity for you to invite those people to come and be your guest. And come and attend the meeting. It might not, I'm not sure how Swell handles it, but maybe you can even get an extra ticket, or maybe if it's somebody you've really been trying to work with, maybe you buy them a ticket to invite them to be able to come so that they can see you, do what you do best, and showcase your work. So reaching out to everyone you can to spread the word. Number one, it really helps the event itself, but it will position you as the effort you're putting in, making sure that you're getting the maximum return out of it. Some other ideas is to get people really excited about what you're doing and what you're providing. You could send out surveys to these people that we're talking about, inviting them. So let's say you're a caterer and say, here's menu 1 or menu 2. What do you guys think? Which ones do you like better? If you're a DJ, you could survey people and say, what kind of songs do you want to hear? Get the community around you, be involved. You can post, polls in the event on social media, but make sure you're starting the conversation and getting people really excited as to whatever it is you are providing to sponsor. So maybe you're the linen company and you want to, just show a few, a tiny little square on social media as to what the palette of things are looking like from a design and decor standpoint. Either way, make sure you're getting people excited by posting in the event. I know a lot of us, the events are on Facebook on Eventbrite, but if the event's in Facebook and it's open for posting, post in there as your company. Get them excited. Start the conversation going. Let them know that you're going to be there, that you can't wait to meet them. If you're doing any kind of promotions or specials or contests or things when you're there, take advantage of that. Right? You have the accessibility to get in front of the invitees and maybe the attendees in advance, so maximize that opportunity. All right, so now we get to the event itself. Make sure you're set and ready 30 minutes in advance. You don't want to be that person that companies see scrambling to be ready as guests are already arriving. The event industry, we're either super early or super late because we were doing stuff. So, but make sure, I know at some of our organizations up here, although the meeting starts at 6:30, a lot of people start showing up between 6 and 6:15. If we're not set and ready to go, it doesn't always look best like we were prepared, even though they're the ones that are early. So make sure you're set and ready 30 minutes in advance before doors open. You have everything you need there. It will also give you that time with those early arrivals to start having conversations and also connect with the other vendors that are part of the event. It gives you that time to, if they need any assistance or any help, so that you're maximizing that. Again, remember to use social media while you're there that day. You can post behind the scenes. You can highlight all the other all the other vendor sponsors that are there, right? If you're the DJ, but there's a linen company and a caterer and a florist, you can be taking pictures and tagging them all over social media in your stories. And that way it will broaden the exposure, because if they start sharing it on their side, then it will broaden the exposure of everybody who was there at the event. So use that time wisely and make sure you're tagging things. I always, if you're at the type of event where you have like a table set up, meaning, you have a cocktail table, maybe with some of your marketing materials and things like that, ask the event organizer what's appropriate. We have a really tall, skinny pop-up banner that I'm sure a lot of you have if you do wedding shows and events and things like that. So while I don't bring like a full booth, we'll ask if maybe we can have a cocktail table off to the side with our pop-up banner, so we have some signage that people are there. If you don't have this, remember, if you have a little table worth of space, make sure you have some kind of tabletop sign. You can get them printed at Walgreens, a 20 by 30 with your logo on it and who you are. So make sure you have signage, so if people were looking to connect with you, that they can connect with you in advance. This won't really apply as much for events that you maybe don't have specific space, but if that's something that's provided and available and something that Jordan offers, or if he hasn't offered, maybe you can just ask him, right? If that's something that you can do. Okay, so you might want to consider running some kind of giveaway. It would be a great way for you to be able to collect attendee business cards, and you could do something like fun using your social media. Follow us on Instagram, post a picture of some of the services we provided and tag us in a story today, and you'll get entered to win X. Remember, as a vendor, I don't really care about winning wedding cakes or DJ services or things like that, but make it like a $25 Starbucks card or a $50 restaurant gift certificate. Make sure you are maximizing getting those people to not only, know who you are, but like you, follow your social media, share about your company to other people. So run some kind of contest if you can. And if you're gonna do that, make sure you tell people in advance that you'll be doing that giveaway. Of course, get it approved with the event organizer first, but if they're okay with it as part of, your setup in your area, then it always looks good if there's more giveaways happening at an event, right? So those are some of the things you can do. I also want you to think about the marketing materials that you're bringing to represent your company. If you are the caterer, make sure that on your display table of all that delicious food is business cards sitting there on the table. If you bring marketing materials, I do want you to make sure you remember that you're marketing here to venues and vendors and professionals in the industry. This isn't you marketing to couples themselves. So make sure whatever materials you bring apply specifically to the category of who's going to be at the event. Because the message of what you're providing maybe to a bride and groom or to engaged couples, that's about like your package pricing and things like that, it might be more specific if I'm a vendor or a venue, how you work together with them as a good partner, what your referral process looks like. So just make sure whatever marketing materials, obviously a business card is generic and applies for everyone, and God willing you bring a ton of them and put them on the tables and all of those things. But if you don't have that, make sure, just if you're going to bring extra marketing materials, make sure that they're specific to the audience that's there. I also love promo items. I know it's like trinkets and trash of little things. Not everybody likes it, but I think having something that maybe represents your company, represents your brand, is a nice little giveaway with your name on it. I was at a wedding show on Sunday and one of the venues walked around and gave every single vendor there like a nail file with their name on it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Threw it in my purse. God knows how long that'll live in my purse, right? But that little promo item will keep her company front of mind for me as I'm looking at it. So think about a promotional item if you have something that you've used for your company and other, but remember it's more likely for a vendor to keep things like that than even for a couple at something like that. If these types of events that you're sponsoring have the opportunity for you to speak, and kind of share about your business, I want to make sure that you have a really clear and defined 60-second elevator pitch where you're making the energy and effort to share your name, the name of your company, who you serve, like who's your ideal client, what makes you different and unique. Sometimes people will get up there and I'm Joe Schmo and we're a DJ company in this market. Great. It's just not enough info. Whereas, like, one of the businesses I own is called Wedding Venue Map. Maybe some of you saw me at the January Swell meeting speaking. But if not, when somebody says, I say, I'm Shannon, the founder of Wedding Venue Map. We're a print and digital resource that connects engaged couples early in their planning stages to venues and vendors that are looking to get in front of these clients. It's really specific, right? We're print and online. We work with vendors, venues, and couples. So it's a very well-oiled sentence. I've said it 1,000 times in my life, but make sure that you have this elevator pitch, whether you get the chance to speak in front of everyone or you have that opportunity just one-on-one when you meet someone at these types of events. You want to make sure they leave with a clear understanding of what you do, who you are, and things like that. You want to leave that lasting impression on people when you meet them, right? You want to thank them for coming, even though you're a sponsor and not the host of the event, by being thankful and grateful for people attending to be able to see what it is that you provide. It's important, right? That leaves a really great lasting impression. I want to make sure that the service you're providing that day is on point, right? You should be treating this event like it is a wedding, like it is someone's special social event or a corporate meeting, because this is your opportunity to showcase your services. And so you need to treat it accordingly. I think sometimes when we sponsor the industry, we're like, oh, it's just other vendors. We host events up here in Central Florida, and I've had vendors cancel on us like the day before, and now we're scrambling. I mean, I would never invite that person to sponsor again. So be a good partner, but treat it like it is a professional event. Okay, last up is after the event. Right? So you've done the event, you've put in the energy, you've built all these relationships, you've collected business cards that day. Now what? Right? How do I maximize after the event is completed? First and foremost, you want to follow up with all those people you met. Whether the organizer provides you a list of attendees or you've collected them that day, make sure you send the message. Thank you for coming. What did you think? What was your favorite part? Send them an individual email that's like touching base with them. If you didn't get a chance to meet them, say, I wish we had more time to talk. I'd love to learn more about your business. But make sure you're following through. It's more important, you want to go with a targeted plan as to who do you really want to connect with, but your sponsoring opportunity is for you to get in front of everyone. So I want to make sure that you are afterwards making sure you follow up and follow through, because that's like 90% of it afterwards, right? When you get the photos from the organizer, you want to share them on social media, right? I don't think sometimes that couples looking at our social media can tell the difference between a sponsored event or a networker, or if it was a wedding or an event, especially when they're as gorgeous as Jordan's Swell events and he blows them out every time. So make sure you're sharing those pictures on social media, put them in your stories, create an album on Facebook, talk about what the event is. It also helps to establish you as like a leader in the industry when you're sponsoring events like this, especially to couples. They're like, oh, look at that. They were a sponsor. You and I both know maybe it's just you thinking you're providing free services for a vendor event. But when you share that with professional photography of your work, it's literally free content. So put it out there, tag everyone, put it all over the place, so that way you get that opportunity to maximize the exposure. And hopefully people will then share it all over. If you do have a blog on your website, I always recommend blogging all these free, whether you do a styled shoot or sponsor an event or at an event, make sure you blog the images. It's always good to be able to tag back and link back to all of the vendors that participated, right? If you're not a blogger, that's okay, just let it be. make sure you share the next event with your circle. So even if they happen to miss out on you sponsoring this event, the next event you see come and hit social media, share it out there. Say, we were so excited to be part of this last month. If you missed it, you should make sure you come next month. So make sure you keep sharing and talking about your involvement with the organization. I'm also a really big fan, even when I'm the sponsor, to write a handwritten thank you note to, usually I'll do it to the other sponsors that are there, right? Because if you're a florist, you kind of needed the linen company, the rental company, the venue. So I write a lot of handwritten thank you notes to the other sponsors and also to the event organizer. Even if you pre-write them and you just give them out at the event versus mailing them afterwards, I think it's a great opportunity for, again, you to leave that lasting impression on the other sponsors in the group. Make sure, lastly, that you share any feedback you had with the host, whether it was you loved it, it was great, if you missed getting someone's contact info and you wanted to connect with them, but make sure you talk to whoever's hosting the event and share feedback on your experience of being a sponsor. Did it meet your expectations, exceed your expectations? Did it not meet your expectations? Is there something you'd like to see different in the future when you sponsor? But make sure you're sharing that information and that feedback, because it makes all the difference as someone who organizes events if I can learn from in the future how to do it better. So I hope that the energy and effort you're putting into sponsoring, you've realized that it's worth the effort and the time, and you got some great tips by watching this video of some different ways that you can maybe maximize that even more. Again, my name is Shannon Tarrant. I'm up here in the Central Florida area, and I own a local resource here called Wedding Venue Map, and also an online education. We're over on Facebook and on Instagram called WedTank, WEDTANK. And I'd love to have you, if you want more helpful videos and tips and things like that, come and follow our social media and stay on top of some of the things coming on. Thanks so much, and let me know what you learned from what we shared today.